Hello everyone. In this video today, we're going to be taking a look at an article from CNN published on March 29th, written by Nick Valencia and Pamela Kirkland. Now, this is about the SPLC, and I just have to say is the ones who cry wolf the most are usually wolves in sheep clothing and tend to be hypocritical on top of that. Famous civil rights group suffers from systematic culture of racism and sexism, staffers say. You know, with how much of the shit that they're pushing, usually how do I put this? If someone is a certain way and they go, well, this is going on because they're doing it, they think everyone else is doing it. That just happened to be the case with the SPLC. Some employees at the Southern Poverty Law Center say the legendary civil rights nonprofit group suffers from a systematic culture of racism and sexism within its workplace. Yes, and then they cry about how it's everywhere else, and in most cases it's not there. Almost every case it's not been there. I mean, you look at all these supposed hate groups that the SPLC labeled as racist and all that. Turned out they weren't hate groups and they weren't racist. Go figure. The SPLC, which has been on the front line of the fight against racial inequality and injustice in the United States since 1971, has been thrust into chaos after allegations over its treatment of minority and female employees. Now, what's funny is racism and all those other isms like it were almost completely dead in the 90s. And I think they realized it, and it just, from that point forward, they're like, we need to fabricate hate. We need to create hate. And they started creating hate on the left because they knew it. They knew that they needed this hate to be there to justify their existences. And it doesn't matter if it's the SPLC or just some SJW. Because of their personal beliefs about themselves and who they are. If those things aren't there, it's like they don't exist. And I'm not referring to those things not existing, which they don't. I'm referring to those people feeling like they don't exist because their sense of self and identity is not a thing. And that's what it's no different with an organization like the SPLC. The claims have been followed by changes in its leadership and a company-wide review. CNN spoke with 3 current employees of the organization who talked on condition of anonymity because of fears over possible retribution. It was one of those employees who cited the systematic problems with racism and sexism, and a second employee agreed with that assessment. What I love is the legacy media wants the Mueller report completely unredacted. They want it out there, with names and everything. And you know why they want those names out there of these people, these particular people, so that they can dox them and shame them and everything else. But these type of people, we got to protect their anonymity. Going to show how hypocritical the legacy media is. Because they don't want these people to fear retribution, but yet they want the unredacted Mueller report so people will fear retribution. Because they didn't, lie in front of the grand jury and give false information to get rid of the Orange Man. Because Orange Man bad. It was one of those employees I love that. I'm sorry, I already read that, but I love that. It was one of the employees who cited it. Another one backed it up. The Alabama-based activist group is nationally known for tracking civil rights abuses and hate crimes while preaching tolerance. No, they preach intolerance because you know what? They're like, white people bad, white people evil, attack the white people. Everyone, pig pile on the white people. That's not preaching tolerance. Oh, sorry. That's cultural Marxist leftist tolerance. Oh, God. The group established itself as a crusading force by fighting racism and exposing extremist groups, taking many cases pro bono. A famed civil rights activist, the late Julian Bond, was the group's first president. At one time, the SPLC had its place. Now, not so much. And because of that, they've needed to fabricate this hate. I'm trying to think of it. this perception of hate. Because the other way I was going to put it didn't quite convey what I was getting at. But that still doesn't quite accurately do it, but it's close enough. So they have to keep perpetuating this perception of hate and justify why they're there. Let's see. Why do you think they did the OK symbol as a white supremacist thing? Because they're literally having to try to, out of desperation, trying to find something, anything to justify why they're around today. Oh, God. Former Michelle Obama Chief of Staff Tina Chen will lead a review of workplace culture at the SPLC. Oh, yeah, let's leave the, that's not putting the wolves in charge of the hen house. Oh, no. But one of the employees who spoke to CNN alleged the organization suffers from a pervasive racist culture and an environment in which a woman is not seen or heard. She also said qualified African-American employees were regularly passed over for promotions, including one African-American colleague she described as brilliant. She added, "My boss only hires white people." Well, they have black people working there. I'm not saying whether they're being racist or not. It sounds like they could be. I wouldn't doubt it because the left, they're infamous for their projection because they're really the racists. And they project it onto everyone else, like, Republicans, conservatives, independents, libertarians. Oh, you're all racists. Look at me. I'm virtue signaling how non-racist I am. When I don't think that people that aren't white have their own agency. It's like, are you kidding me? When you basically act like someone who isn't white doesn't have their own agency, you're a fucking racist. And that's how these people are. The employee described the current upheaval at the SPLC as a revolution against the organization's leadership, initiated by employees because workers were tired of seeing the pervasive culture exist, unchallenged by those in charge. This is one of those things where you have to wonder if this is the left eating its own or if the left is being hypocrites. Actually, it could be both. Because I'm thinking it's a bit of both here, because they are hypocrites, because they'll say, oh, you people do this, and they're the ones that actually believe and feel that particular way, like with, minorities. They're the ones that have, time after time again, show how racist they are when they don't think that, black people can go and get a driver's license when you need it, or a non-driver's ID when you need to go and vote, when you need one of them, one or the other, to do anything else in this world. Cash a check, you need some form of ID. To get a job, you need some form of ID. But to vote, oh no. The Democrats, black people can't go out and get a driver's license. They needed it to get their goddamn job. Give me a break. That's racism. So I'm feeling that this is... I'm feeling this is, both of them. I'm feeling there's a bit of both going on. The SPLC fired co-founder Morris Dees on March 13th and launched a top-to-bottom external review of workplace culture headed by former Michelle Obama Chief of Staff Tina Chen. Now, what's funny is see, like I said, this is like a possible left eating the own and being hypocrite and, thinking it's both. This is also, to me, I think of this as a coup going on. What I think happened here, in part, is the SPLC didn't do what they wanted it to do. It didn't get done what they wanted to get done. It didn't demonize the people that they wanted demonized. It's been seen as being this pushing fake bullshit organization who will label individuals and groups as racists and white supremacists and this and that and the other thing, just to because people are waking up to that and they're seeing that they're doing that to justify their existence. I think a coup happened here to be nothing to see here. You people screwed it, and that's why I think you've got Michelle Obama's Chen here involved in this. To me, it just kind of seems like this might be shady shit going on here at the SPLC. The Obamas, they're elbow deep in the shady shit these days. Just look at with Smollett. The organization said Dees had previously been disciplined after a prior investigation into inappropriate conduct. It would not elaborate on the nature of the conduct. SPLC President Richard Cohen issued this statement on Dee's dismissal. When one of our own fails to meet those standards, no matter his or her role in the organization, we take it seriously and must take appropriate action. Basically what happened is it got public and they're like, shit, we can't sweep this under the rug. I'm thinking that's what happened here to an extent. SPLC president steps down. Last week, Cohen himself stepped down after more than 30 years with the center, saying his departure would help the SPLC move forward. Okay. How about forward into a brick wall at full speed with their spurging out? I'd be fine with that. We've heard from our staff that we need to do a better job of making sure that our workplace embodies the values we espouse. Truth, justice, equality, and inclusion, Cohen said in a statement. Okay, truth, justice, equality, and inclusion. Okay, well then, truth and justice. Right there. Stop labeling people who aren't white supremacists as white supremacists or Muslim, anti-Muslim or whatever you want to label them as. On the note of equality, I don't know. Maybe just stop being Trump deranged idiots, and thinking that everyone that doesn't think like you do is the enemy. That might help. And then on the inclusion, same principles apply there. If you did those things, you wouldn't be hypocrites, but you are hypocrites. Go figure. The SPLC continues to go through upheaval, with its legal director abruptly resigning in recent days. She would not comment when contacted by CNN. I wonder why. Possibly involved in the cover-ups to hide their hypocrisy and bullshit? One employee said of Cohen's departure, employees asked the president to step down. He didn't do anything to change the culture, and he left because of it. Oh, so let me translate that. Because he didn't do what the spurging leftists want, he got to go bye-bye. CNN reached out multiple times on Monday to Deese and Cohen about the workplace allegations. They have not returned our messages. When initially asked about his termination, Deese told CNN it wasn't his decision to leave SPLC. It's a very fine group. I've devoted 50 years of my life to the center. I wish them the very best, Deese said. He would not elaborate on how he learned about his dismissal or the reasoning behind it. He only said that he can let his life's work and reputation speak for itself. That's someone who's been ousted. That's someone who's been driven out right there. That's pretty clear. You can tell by the tonality and what he said. In the past few years, Deese said, he mostly went to the center to make calls to big donors. Oh, so he wasn't handling the day-to-day. Oh, okay. As SPLC's chief trial counsel, Deese began in the early 1980s to use courts to secure monetary damages against hate groups. As part of the judgments, he helped win against those groups. Courts would then seize the group's assets. In 1981, Deese successfully sued the Ku Klux Klan and won a $7 million judgment for the mother of Michael Donald, a black lynching victim in Alabama. The judgment bankrupted the United Klans of America, which had to sell its national headquarters to help pay it off. Now, to me, you had a group of individuals. If there was no direct link, I don't know. Yeah. If there was a direct link, I could see this being legit on them having to sell. But if it was just some group of inbred rednecks, that's a different story. In these days, with how the SPLC is, who's to say that they didn't misrepresent some things in the past? I believe that, they were probably more legit back in 81, and they probably presented their case pretty legit for the $7 million, but yeah. These days, I wouldn't trust it so much. The SPLC's communications department, while defending the group's handling of the current crisis, has not responded to questions about the specific substance of the various allegations. A spokeswoman said the group's leadership has taken the initiative to improve culture and that Cohen urged leadership changes in October, prompting the SPLC board to appoint a search committee for his replacement. Oh, God. This improved culture. Basically, it's catered to the leftists and their perceptions and oh, well, we got to have, you know, equal representation, which means you're going to have more than the actual number of, say, a particular group in the country, like, say, blacks. They need the same exact number of people as whites, even though they only make up 13% of the population. That's what I'm feeling is this improved culture thing going on. Richard told the board that a number of legacy civil rights organizations had transitioned to a new generation of leaders in recent years, and that we should too, spokeswoman Jen Fuson told CNN. The events of the last week we've been a clear reminder that the walk towards justice must start at your own front door, Brian Fair, chairman of the Southern Poverty Law Center's board, said in a statement. Oh, really? Well, then, starting at home, maybe you should stop labeling non-racists as racists, non-white supremacist groups as white supremacist groups, and other groups as hate groups. I mean, you literally, like, sit there covering for Antifa, a literal hate group, while you try to demonize anyone that's right of you and white. Give me a break. We acknowledge and take very seriously the significant concerns that our talented and deeply committed staff have raised, and we are committed to listening further, taking ownership wherever we have failed to live up to our own standards and values, and to making any changes necessary at the conclusion of this process to ensure that the center is exemplifying and upholding them. If you are exemplifying and upholding your standards, or whatever how you want to call it, then you wouldn't be doing all of the fake hate fucking crime bullshit, labeling groups that, like I've said multiple times, as white supremacists and other types of hate groups that aren't hate groups or white supremacists. SPLC staffers so divided. One of the employees told CNN that the rank and file within the SPLC are deeply divided between those who are seeking a complete overhaul and those who support leadership efforts to review the culture. Yeah, there's a coup going on. Huh, I could have told you that. That's kind of like common fucking sense. Jojo the Idiot Circus Boy can figure that one out. We are so divided, the employee said. I want to see us rise through the ashes. The white males here who are calling the shots can't ruin us. Oh, because white males are evil. They're evil. Give me a break. Cohen and Deese's departures came after SPLC Associate Legal Director Meredith Horton resigned. Horton did not return CNN's calls for comment. It all started with the resignation of Meredith Horton, an employee said, referring to the SPLC's outgoing Associate Legal Director. Horton was a high-ranking African-American woman in the organization. In her resignation letter obtained by CNN, Horton cited concerns about workplace culture. It should not be a surprise that as a woman of color, the experiences of staff of color and female staff have been particularly important to me, she wrote. Now, the funny thing is we honestly don't know if this stuff has been going on in the SPLC. We're supposed to just take the word of this woman with no corroborating evidence at this point. Just someone going, oh yeah, what this person said, this anonymous person said, and I'm anonymous, I'm going to back them up. That's what we've had. We recognize that there is more work to do in the legal department and across the organization to ensure that the SPLC is a place where everyone is heard and respected, and where the values we are committed to pursuing externally are also being practiced internally. Oh, so what you're doing is you're just, all right, so I get the idea now. What you're basically doing is because you label all these people who are white as racist and sexist and misogynist and all that other shit, you're now doing that internally. Okay, gotcha. Andy Worski, I think, would be happy to know that you people are applying. Oh, I keep knocking over my mod. Sorry about that if you keep hearing the thud. But Andy Worski would be happy to know that you're applying the same bullshit you applied to him to your own people. He'd be fucking ecstatic. Horton did not return CNN's calls for comment. According to one employee, action was taken against Deese after Horton submitted her letter. Huh. Okay, because someone resigned? All right. Allegations greatly exaggerated. But another employee told CNN that allegations of misconduct were greatly exaggerated. I'm completely happy here, the employee said. We have many women in leadership. Another employee said Dees didn't catch up with the times. I love this. Two sides to every story. Interesting. And it's at the very end because you got CNN trying to portray a certain narrative here. And we can't have someone who's actually going against that narrative, prominently put up at the top to refute it. No, we got to push that story and hope that people don't read through to the end. The source said Dees was an amazing salesman, adding that he was also a scapegoat for the company's problems. Yeah, probably. Wouldn't doubt it. The center, the way the left eats its own, they'll throw anyone that's on their side under the bus. Wouldn't surprise me. The center has strongly defended its response to recent events. No one, no matter that person's position at the SPLC, will be exempt from scrutiny, and accountability is part of that process, Fusen said in a statement. As a civil rights organization, the SPLC is committed to ensuring that the conduct of our staff reflects the mission of the organization and the values we hope to instill in the world. As a civil rights organization, you should defend free speech in all its forms, regardless of who the person is. But you don't. So you're truly not a civil rights organization because you want to silence people that are right of you. You want to silence people that aren't pushing the cultural Marxist identity politics crap that you are, that you've pinned your future on. Because racism and everything else is dying, and you're the ones that are trying to bring it back to life. I mean, hell, it's like I said, it's you people who tend to be the racists and project it onto everyone else. I mean, this is ridiculous that it took this long for this type of stuff to come out in the SPLC when they push the shit that they push, and they've been repetitively shown to be talking out of their asses about individuals and groups and labeling them this, that, and the other thing. They've been proven full of shit. Anyway, I've covered this well enough. I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.